Did you know one car brand is losing buyers so fast that owning one today might feel like buying a brand new smartphone the week after the company goes bankrupt? And the number one brand on today's list? Let's just say if this trend keeps going, your resale value might disappear faster than free pizza at an office party. Welcome back to the Car Geek, where we separate smart car buys from expensive driveway decorations. Today, we're counting down 6 car brands that are quietly losing ground in the UK. Some built legendary cars, some were household names, but now they're facing shrinking sales, factory cutbacks, and a future that looks about as stable as a Craigslist project car with just needs a tune-up in the description. And trust me, if you think the first brand is surprising, wait until you see the last one. It might completely change how you look at your next car purchase. Number 6. Honda. Let's start with one that might make a few Honda fans clutch their coffee a little tighter. Before you grab your keyboard, relax. Honda still builds dependable cars. Models like the Civic, Accord, and CR-V from around 2018 through 2025 remain some of the most reliable vehicles you can buy, with efficient engines that regularly return around 30 to 40 mpg, depending on the model and powertrain. The problem isn't the cars, it's what the market is doing around them. For decades, Honda had one unbeatable sales pitch. Buy one, change the oil, ignore it for the next 200,000 miles, and somehow it'll still start every Monday morning. It became the automotive version of that one old refrigerator your grandparents refused to replace because it simply wouldn't die. But here's where things get interesting. Buyers today aren't only shopping for reliability anymore. They're comparing giant touchscreens, longer warranties, hybrid technology, and prices that are getting more competitive every year. Suddenly, Honda isn't the only sensible kid in class. It's sharing the homework with everyone else. That doesn't mean Honda is going anywhere tomorrow. Far from it. But when a brand that built its reputation on being the obvious safe choice suddenly has to convince buyers why it's worth paying extra, things get a little uncomfortable. If you think that's surprising, just wait until you see the next brand. Their downfall is even harder to believe. Number 5. Fiat. Now let's talk about a brand almost everybody recognizes. Fiat practically invented the idea that a tiny car could squeeze into a parking spot that looked too small for a shopping cart. The Fiat 500 and the Panda, especially models built between 2015 and 2025, became icons of affordable city driving. Great fuel economy, often around 40 to 50 mpg, low running costs, and enough personality to make you forgive the fact that your luggage had to travel on your lap. So, what happened? The problem is that being the cheap option isn't the advantage it used to be. Today, buyers can walk into a showroom and find competitors offering bigger infotainment screens, more safety features, longer warranties, and sometimes even lower monthly payments. That's like showing up to a pizza party with plain toast and wondering why nobody's excited. Fiat's biggest strength slowly became its biggest weakness. When your entire identity revolves around affordability, someone only has to beat you on price once before people start looking elsewhere. And once customers leave, convincing them to come back is about as easy as convincing a Mustang owner not to rev at a red light. The cars themselves still serve their purpose, especially for city driving. But from a resale perspective, buyers should pay attention to where the brand is heading, not just how cute the car looks parked outside the coffee shop. And trust me, the next brand didn't lose buyers because of price. It lost something much more valuable, its identity. Number 4. DS Automobiles. If you've ever played the game, guess what car that is? Congratulations. You've already experienced DS's biggest problem. DS was supposed to be France's answer to the German luxury brands. Take solid engineering, wrap it in fancy leather, throw in some stylish design, give it a futuristic dashboard, and suddenly you've got premium. Models like the DS3, DS4, and DS7, especially from 2018 through 2025, are comfortable, packed with technology, and many of them can deliver anywhere from 35 to over 50 mpg, depending on the engine or plug-in hybrid version. Sounds great, right? Well, there's one tiny problem. People still look at it and ask, wait, isn't that basically a Citroën? Ouch. That's like spending thousands on a designer suit only for someone to ask if you borrowed it from your cousin. The car may be excellent, but luxury buyers don't just buy features. They buy the badge, the image, and the feeling that comes with it. That's where DS has struggled. It isn't competing against bad cars. It's competing against decades of brand prestige built by BMW, Mercedes-Benz, Audi, and Lexus. Building a premium reputation isn't something you download with a software update. If you're shopping used, a DS can actually be an incredible value because depreciation has already done most of the damage. But if resale value matters to you, it's worth thinking twice before falling in love with the fancy interior lighting. And don't get too comfortable. Because the next brand isn't just losing customers, it's watching a piece of automotive history disappear right before its eyes. Number 3. Vauxhall. Now this one hits differently, because this isn't just about sales numbers. It's about watching a piece of British automotive history slowly pack its bags and turn the lights off. For generations, Vauxhall was everywhere. If you grew up in Britain, chances are someone in your family owned an Astra, Corsa, Vectra, or Insignia at some point. Models built between 2016 and 2025 offered decent reliability, practical interiors, and fuel economy that often landed between 40 and 60 mpg, depending on the engine. They weren't flashy, but they got the job done. Think of them as the automotive version of that dependable pair of sneakers you wore until the soles practically filed for retirement. So why is the brand on this list? Because the biggest story isn't what's happening in the showroom. It's what's happening behind the factory gates. After more than a century of vehicle production, Vauxhall's historic manufacturing operations have been dramatically scaled back, with major plant closures and thousands of jobs affected. That's not something you can fix with a mid-cycle facelift or a bigger touchscreen. The badge is still alive. You'll still see new Corsas and Astras on dealer lots. But the company that many people grew up thinking of as a true British manufacturer isn't the same anymore. And when a brand starts losing that emotional connection with buyers, rebuilding it is about as easy as putting the toothpaste back in the tube. None of this automatically makes a Vauxhall a bad car. But it does mean buyers should pay attention to where the brand is headed over the next several years, especially when thinking about resale value and long-term ownership. And now, we're down to the final 2. If you thought losing a factory was shocking, wait until you hear about the brand that somehow managed to turn one of the greatest names in automotive history into one of the industry's biggest question marks. Quick favor before we keep going. If you've got that one friend who's always saying, "Bro, every car is basically the same," send them this video. They might save themselves a few $1,000s, or at least stop giving terrible car advice at every barbecue. And if you're enjoying the video, hit that like button. It helps the Car Geek keep exposing the stuff dealerships wish nobody talked about. Number 2. Jaguar. If there were an award for most confusing business decision of the decade, Jaguar would have at least made the finals. Seriously. This is a brand that gave the world legendary machines like the E-Type, the XJ, the F-Type, and sporty sedans like the XE and XF. Models built between 2015 and 2024 offered everything from smooth turbocharged 4-cylinders to screaming supercharged V8s, with fuel economy ranging from roughly 22 to 35 mpg, depending on the model. They weren't just transportation. They were cars people actually dreamed about owning. Then, Jaguar decided to hit the reset button. Not just a little refresh, not just a new logo. They practically cleaned out the entire showroom before the replacements were even ready. Imagine walking into your favorite burger restaurant, and the cashier proudly tells you, "Great news! We got rid of every burger on the menu. The new ones should arrive. Eventually." Yeah, that's about how customers felt. One by one, familiar models disappeared. Dealers suddenly had fewer choices to offer buyers. Then came a complete brand makeover that left many longtime fans scratching their heads instead of reaching for their wallets. The result? Sales dropped dramatically, dealer networks started shrinking, and suddenly one of Britain's most iconic luxury brands found itself fighting to stay relevant in a market that wasn't waiting around. That's the scary part about reputation. It can take decades to build, and only a handful of bad decisions to send it into reverse faster than someone who accidentally shifted into R instead of D. Buying a used Jaguar today isn't automatically a terrible idea. In fact, some models have become incredible bargains because depreciation has already done the heavy lifting. But buyers should also think about future servicing, dealer availability, and long-term resale before falling in love with that gorgeous bodywork. And now, we've reached number 1. This isn't a niche luxury brand. This isn't a company that barely sold any cars. This is a manufacturer that millions of people still trust around the world, which makes what's happening behind the scenes even more unbelievable. Number 1. Nissan. And here we are, the brand that probably surprised me the most, because this isn't some tiny company hanging on by a thread. This is Nissan, the company behind the Altima, Sentra, Rogue, Frontier, Pathfinder, and one of the world's best-selling crossovers, the Qashqai in Europe. Models built between 2018 and 2025 are generally known for solid reliability, reasonable maintenance costs, and fuel economy ranging anywhere from 28 to over 40 mpg, depending on the engine and whether you're looking at a sedan, SUV, or hybrid. So why is Nissan sitting at number 1? Because what's happening behind the curtain is far more important than what's happening on the showroom floor. Over the last few years, Nissan has been cutting costs aggressively. Production has been reduced in several markets, restructuring plans have expanded, and thousands of jobs have been affected globally. Those aren't the moves of a company that's simply having one bad quarter. Those are the moves of a company trying to get back on solid ground before the road gets even bumpier. And here's the part that should make every buyer pay attention. The competition isn't just Ford, Toyota, or Honda anymore. Brands that many people in the UK had barely heard of only a few years ago are now grabbing a bigger piece of the market every single month. They're arriving with attractive pricing, long warranties, impressive technology, and enough features to make buyers stop and ask a dangerous question. Why should I pay more? That's a question every established automaker hates hearing. It's kind of like being the star quarterback for years, then suddenly getting benched by the new kid who transferred in last semester. Nobody saw it coming. But once it happens, everybody notices. Now, let's be fair. None of this means every Nissan is suddenly a bad purchase. Far from it. A well-maintained Rogue, Frontier, or Altima can still be a fantastic vehicle. But buying a car isn't just about today's reliability. You're also buying into the company's future. Will dealer networks stay as strong? Will resale values remain competitive? Will the brand recover its momentum over the next several years? Those are questions every smart buyer should ask before signing the paperwork. Because here's the truth. The engine under the hood is only half the purchase. The company behind the badge matters just as much. So, what did we learn today? The biggest mistake people make is focusing only on horsepower, leather seats, giant touchscreens, or that panoramic sunroof they'll probably open twice a year. The smartest buyers look at something much bigger. They look at the health of the brand. Because a fantastic car backed by a struggling manufacturer can become a headache years later through weaker resale values, shrinking dealer networks, or uncertain long-term support. That doesn't mean you should avoid every brand on today's list. It simply means you should buy with your eyes open instead of buying because the monthly payment looks good or because the salesperson said, "Trust me." At the Car Geek, that's exactly why we make these videos. Not to tell you what to buy, but to give you the information most people don't hear until it's already too late. So now I want to hear from you. Which brand shocked you the most? Do you own one of these vehicles? Would you still buy one today? Or are you looking somewhere else? Drop your experience in the comments because your story might save another driver thousands of dollars. And if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe to the Car Geek, and share this with that friend who's always convinced he found the deal of the century. It might actually be a deal, or it might be tomorrow's biggest depreciation nightmare. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.